I can't believe I just did this. What did I just do? What is going on? Like, was it even worth it? Hey y'all, it's your girl SemiraJulia, and we are back at it again with another video. Today we are discussing my 6 months since quitting my 9-to-5 job with no job lined up and no backup plan. And was it even worth it? Well, I'm gonna tell you that answer right now. It was completely worth it. But if you wanna know why, continue watching the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe. After these 6 months, I can truly say it was worth quitting my job, just because I've taken the time to really grow as an individual internally, like my personal growth, my spiritual growth. Now, I could have been in the gym more, so physically, you know, we still gotta get a little more fit. But I've enjoyed spending time with my family and just traveling, as well as pursuing my passions. I think content creation, well, not I think, I know content creation is one of my passions, and it's also a really large creative outlet for me, which has been wonderful. I feel like during these 6 months, it was definitely needed, and it has definitely put me in such a great mental headspace. Like, I feel like I can conquer the world right now. This process of leaving my job, stepping out on faith, not knowing what is coming next, definitely has helped me grow as an individual and as an adult. So that's why it was completely worth it to me. Now, while it was worth it to me, I'm not going to sit here and act like quitting your job with no plan has its challenges, because it truly does. For me, I think the biggest one, which is not a secret, is financial. I think that's for anybody who just ups and decides to quit their job. And for me, I wasn't necessarily looking to work directly after. But during this journey, I have to be completely transparent if I'm going to share it online. I had a savings, and I've been living off of said savings. So that has kept me financially afloat. But, you know, it's strange not having money coming in and like deposited in your account. It's a different feeling. It's a different level of budgeting. And yeah, that's I think the biggest challenge. Another challenge that I think a lot of people don't discuss is the social challenge of being unemployed, especially by choice. Okay, I will say I'm from the DMV. Almost all of us here are professionals. And so the first thing people ask you is, what do you do for a living? What do I do for a living? So, you know, I'm a graduate in strategic, legal, and management communications, specifically PR. And so for me, I would say I'm a micro content creation. I've just taken the time. I left my job in January and taken the time off to pursue my passions. I don't feel like overly explaining a lot to people, but a lot of times people want more context. And so if they ask questions, I'm more than happy to answer, but it can be kind of like frustrating at times. And then obviously I'm a young lady and I'm single. So when it comes to dating, that's also a challenge. I think when you're not working and you leave your job with no job lined up, I think that a lot of people, especially at our age, a lot of people are dating for, you know, more serious relationships. It's like, you quit your job? And it's like, yeah, to pursue my interests and my passions. That can be a challenge too. I'm personally very confident in myself and very decisive and confident in my decisions. So it really doesn't affect me personally. I don't get offended if somebody is not interested in somebody who has that going on. It's not something that really bothers me personally, because I stepped out on faith and I know God's got me. So I'm not really concerned about anything like that. So but that is a challenge that one can potentially face, and I faced it in different ways, because you definitely get the looks like, oh, okay, and then people don't want to be rude, so they're just like, oh, yeah, that's what you decided to do. That's nice. But I've also received so much positive support that I really just don't feel offended. I don't know. I just know that I made my decision and it's worth it to me, and I think that everybody should live their life according to what they want to live their life by and the rules they create for themselves. And so this is how I'm choosing to live my life, and I stand by it. Another challenge that a lot of people have asked me about, but I don't personally face, is how do I pay my bills? It's almost similar to the financial question as far as money coming in, but for me, I'm blessed to live with my parents, so I know I have a roof over my head that's covered and I don't have a car note. So for me, I don't have the traditional bills that some others may have, but I will point out for anybody who's considering quitting their job with no backup plan that you do have enough money to last you to be able to pay, you know, those important bills like your rent, like your car note. But I don't necessarily personally face those challenges, but I always love to point them out because these are questions that I've gotten from like my video on TikTok and Instagram. Another challenge when quitting your job with no backup plan and no job lined up is interviewing for other jobs. So something to consider, people are going to ask you why you have a gap on your resume or if you currently are working. And obviously my answer is no to the currently working question. And to the gap question, I'm usually very transparent as to why I left my job. I just simply say I was looking to, you know, work in another industry and that's why I left. That's kind of like a short, simple way or a suggestion as to why, you know, you may have left your job. And if it was for other reasons, I mean, I think to an extent you really can be transparent. There's always verbiage you can use to make your situation seem better than maybe it potentially is. But regardless, you know, that is a challenge because jobs don't want to risk a flight risk, or they want somebody who's dependable and that can last in their organization. So that is a challenge, you know, when you quit your job and don't have a job lined up directly after. So now I have a few tips when quitting your job with no job lined up, no backup plan. I think the first thing is know your why. Why it is imperative that you quit your job right now with nothing lined up. Because without the why, I think that you are going to regret your decision. The second tip I have is once you get in your mind you're going to quit, start planning out how you are going to then have insurance and look at the cost factor. Because for me, the moment in my brain I decided to quit my job was the moment I started to look at my healthcare options, like immediately. Once again, full transparency, I went and looked at the Affordable Care Act in my state, went on the website, and it was a seamless process. I got my health insurance that way. But definitely something to consider and to look at when you are quitting your job. The third tip, have some savings. And trust me, there are situations where you're just gonna have to leave your job and you may not have savings, but if you can help it, so help it. Make sure you, like I said, have enough for those essential bills for at least 6 months. I think it's very important if you're quitting your job is that you still have a roof over your head and you still have potential transportation if it's needed. Definitely make sure those important bills can be paid off in the months that you may or may not have a job. The fourth tip is simply find a support system, I think, through the process of like quitting your job. And that support system does not have to be financial. That support system can simply be emotional. It's definitely important because there's times where in the back of my brain, I was like, when I first quit my job, I was like, ooh, I can't believe I just did this. What did I just do? How am I gonna get through this? What is going on? Like a state of mental chaos, and not because you made a bad decision, but it's just such a shift and a change because obviously, especially as adults, having jobs are so important to your life. And a job, you might not have a traditional 9-to-5 job, but like you said, you need a level of income coming in to sustain your life or income to be able to live your life. The fact that you just quit your source of income can be a little shocking, even though you're the one who made the decision. So I definitely would suggest just having a support system, some people that you can get through and talk about what you may be experiencing. Because even if they can't relate, sometimes just speaking to somebody about it, getting it out can be super beneficial. So yes, that's my final tip. If you are considering quitting your job, or if you have quit your job with no job lined up? Let me know in the comments section below. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you again.